It's pepper. Oh, oh, hey. You can sit down, you can lie down, you can turn round, you tie right there. You can get away. I say, what's the name of this soup? Pepper soup. And it's tasting good. Pepper soup. Want to take a taste? Pepper soup. You can't leave the place. Pepper soup. Want to drink that pepper soup? You can't get away. In Liberia, you have to stay. Oh, yeah.
But welcome to Salamartu and Friends. Yay! This time around, I got my friends with me. We got our lawyer parked somewhere, so she'll be looking out for us.
Where is she?
Yeah, we made sure we got a female lawyer too. But I want to welcome Charlene and Claude. Charlene is a university administrator, and Claude is I gotta get this right because if I get it right, I think she might mute me. She's an occupational health, safety, and environmental specialist. I know,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
So, and just a quick backup. I started doing this last year during COVID, you know, the year that we don't really want to talk about. When COVID started, you know, we were all confined to our homes, and throughout, you know, the past maybe about 10 years, I really got the opportunity to meet some amazing women. I got the opportunity to speak with some amazing women, work with them. And I just always felt like, you know, the woman's voice is always kind of drowned. They can drown our voice down, you know, try to keep us quiet. And, but in addition, I really wanted to celebrate the Liberian woman or the African woman per se, but starting, you know, with my village, the Liberian women. So I started Salamartu and Friends, and I've had the pleasure of interviewing some amazing women, extraordinary women, including the legendary Miata Famuled, the educator, Debbie Scott Coranda, the Montserrato Health lead for this whole COVID, Dr. Yata Wapo, and then of course the author, the Liberian author, Wayatu Moore, and then I had the pleasure of interviewing Miss Boss Lady herself, Baku Tutman. So I've gotten, there's more. So I got an opportunity to just kind of talk to these women. I refer to them as our unsung heroes. We have to celebrate us. If we don't celebrate us, who's supposed to? But this year, I want to take it a step further. I want to hear, I think the women need a voice. There's so much that's happening. And usually we go in our little corner, we have our conversation, the men, that just all here talking all kind of thing. Most of them, all kind of thing they're talking. But I wanted to use the platform to speak about some of the things that are happening in our community, whether we're celebrating it, whether we're criticizing it, whether we're trying to provide some kind of guidance, whether we're sensitizing the public, but let the women speak. Let the women say something. So with that, the way this will work, of course, we had to change the time to Sunday night. You know, the women and we got to take care of the family. During the week, it's kind of busy. So Sunday night just seemed to be a little bit more relaxed, even though we're literally in 3 different time zones. Now, before I forget, our fourth partner, Robina, unfortunately, Robina is feeling under the weather. We hope it's not COVID. She took her shot, but we just hope that it's not COVID. But nevertheless, she's not feeling well, and we're going to pray for speedy recovery so she can join us next week. And so the way this will work, we will talk about some of the hot topics that are making rounds, what is on social media, in the newspaper in Liberia or the diaspora. And then starting next week, we will bring on a guest to just have a conversation with them. So, disclaimer. Let me get a disclaimer right now. We mean no harm. But I think everybody listen. Yeah, I think everybody should honestly just kind of listen with a open heart. Again, the women we want to talk to. Yeah, that wasn't we want to talk. We want to say we got things to say. So with that said, ladies, this week has been a very entertaining week. Actually, for the past couple of weeks have been entertaining. And we all know the story that's really trending right now is the $30,000. And for those of you who are watching, we got some of our friends in the region, in the States. They may not know when we posting on our pages about legislature and $30,000. But let me say this, $30,000, we have the legislature budgeted $30,000. The Liberian legislature, yeah, let's be specific. They included in the national budget $30,000 for each person. And how many? I know there's 30 senators, and that's about how many representatives? I know it comes up to about 106 persons total, representatives, senators, but $30,000 each. And the way this was distributed, they took $15,000, and then we're hearing they're getting ready to take another $15,000. Now, it may sound good, maybe in another country, but in Liberia, where we're fighting a disease, we don't have the resources for, they've gotten a lot of backlash. I mean, to be honest, I've been so ashamed because the women, yeah, I've been, they're not coming after me. Yeah, all my friends are like, oh, they you talking about women, and you see not one of your female senator or representative decided to return the money, because the public started to cry out and say, hey, look, any other day in Liberia, you shouldn't be getting $15,000 to do what? Public work? What was the money for?
That money is supposed to be used for the constituents, right?
Yeah.
So this 30,000, anyway, it's a lot of noise. But anyway, finish and we'll chime in.
Yeah. So yeah, they're supposed to take the money and do work in their various districts or county. Now, from the time I've been going to school, from the time I was small, the legislature, that's not a job. Yeah, long time, very long time ago. But that's not their job. That's not their mandate. That's not what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be making laws. They're not supposed to be executing community projects. If you do one community project is one thing, but to literally put money in the budget. And then, but I think the thing that really got me was the fact that we're going through this third wave.
Pandemic.
Yeah. And this is the third way. We barely have resources at the hospital because, our health and education system, that the one we can just take it, just chunk us out. Yeah. But we barely have any of that. We can proudly beg our partners to donate test kits. But in the vaccine, that's another story. I think I would let Glade chime in that one. But there's so many things that we need. And then you just find out that the people getting $15,000 to build public toilets and public schools and things that more than likely is not. Yeah, huh?
They putting the money in the budget is one thing, right? It's actually receiving the money that's the issue. It's not about putting it in the budget because it's been put in the budget many times before. Mm. But at this particular time for the representatives and the senators to receive the money, that's where the issue lies. Because we do have an epidemic, we do have people that are dying, we do have hospitals without ventilators, we do have, we're lacking so many things that we're actually taking $15,000 to go, like you said, build a public toilet. The people have been, okay, let me not say it.
Yeah, no, but somebody just corrected. It said that it's 73 representatives and 30 senators. So it's 103 persons times $30,000. What my calculator is? That's about 3 million, right?
Yeah, Henry already got you the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and so it's just like in that $15,000. And then we out of vaccine. We out of vaccine. We have a new strain here. I was reading, I don't know how true that is, that they haven't identified. People are
The
dying.
new strain outside the Delta variant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently it was not the Delta strain. They're now claiming that it's another strain that they haven't really identified. So
Yes.
with all of that, the public, people are scared. You talk about people getting vaccinated.
Wait, Claudia, hold on. Let me ask Claudia real quick. Claudia, what's that new strain? What's that?
We know.
It has not been identified.
We know.
So viruses tend to mutate based on their environment and based on the host.
Mm-hmm.
So Liberia is a special place. So there is no answer yet whether it was transported in country or whether it was mutated in country. But there is a new strain that's in the population.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, we got some people saying hello to us, ladies. Our first show together. So, Henry P. Costa.
Hey.
Hello, Mr. Costa. How are you? Thanks for watching. I see Amma, Henry King.
Somebody says the LIB strain.
The LIB.
Oh, that's what it is. The LIB strain.
Yeah, how you watching your
No, but the thing is,
yeah.
we know that Liberia has been one of the least. I think if we're not the fifth, we're the fourth poorest country in the world. We are the least 5, and we have had health issues in Liberia forever. Way back when things were even good, health problems still existed. So with the budget and allocating funds for community services for legislatures, I think within politics or within seasons where there are different issues of concern, funds can be reallocated to things of concern. Especially now we have the pandemic. So even if they decided to do community toilets when they drafted the budget or when they passed the budget, it has been 2 years since we have had issues with health. So it should make common sense to all legislatures who are basically representatives of the people to be able to transfer that money to something else. There is a lot that can be done. People could do health education, which is one of the major reasons why the vaccines went to waste. People have no idea why they should take vaccines. They did not have idea where the vaccines are supposed to be. Considering that we also have problems with electricity, there are strict procedures for vaccinations to be kept, for them to be potent.
Of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Claudia,
You have to keep them under a certain
on taking the vaccine?
Sorry?
What's your take on taking the vaccine?
Don't change your subject.
Yeah, that's
Don't change your subject. Don't put
But
on it.
the thing is, you have to give people adequate information.
Yeah.
And that is something we have lacked for a long time, considering our illiteracy rate, considering the rates of people who are even educators. We have very minimal numbers, of people that are within the field of education. Then considering those that we have practicing medicine or in the health settings, they are not exposed enough, or they do not have enough power to be able to educate the populace or the people that they work with. So any kind of funds that is available, at least a little bit of it should be taken to health education. That's the first thing. Besides the pandemic, there are other health issues. It's rainy season now in Liberia. There wouldn't be any surprise when you have bloody diarrhea or bloody dysentery in, the Nimba region. There won't be any surprise when you have cholera in the slum areas. There will be no surprise when the malaria rate starts to get really, really high. There are other diseases. Typhoid is never ending in Liberia. There are other diseases.
Smallpox. Because
and then monkeypox, a few days, 3 days ago. Yes, 3 days ago, a case of monkeypox was alerted globally by CDC in America. someone who had traveled from Nigeria to America had been diagnosed of monkeypox.
Yeah.
Now, monkeypox is smallpox, big brother, smallpox, small brother, but chickenpox, big brother. And up to now, since it was discovered, there have not been any cure. The only thing that they have on books to help, minimize the effects of monkeypox is the smallpox vaccine, because smallpox was eradicated, I think somewhere in the 70s. I don't know whether it was early or late, but smallpox was eradicated. And the vaccine is the only sort of treatment that is now, given. So if there is no information in our country, there is no information in the health sector, it's difficult. So whatever money there is, at least people should be able to teach or, get some information out there so people will be able to take care of their health.
Yeah, and with taking the vaccine, I was hesitant about taking the vaccine, but for very different reasons. A lot of people are hesitant because one, this is considered an experimental drug, vaccine. So people don't know a lot about it. Two, as Black people, let torso and torso. Whether you're in Africa, whether you're in America, whether you're in the UK, there's been a lot of experiment on us with vaccines and medication. So there was, that hesitation. And then for me, honestly, it was the fact that I wasn't sure on what the government had, because again, like you said, they weren't really communicating with us. And then you hear, oh, they need to store it. And I know about electricity in this country. Yeah, I know I don't trust it at all. So all of those things were kind of like, you know what, I want to take the vaccine, but I honestly don't want to take it here. Fortunately for me, I have access to leave and go take it elsewhere. Now you come back, the fear that I had before, I'm starting to see it now with we have vaccine. No, we don't have vaccine. Well, we got vaccine. No, those vaccines expire. And you can't really get a legitimate story from the government. So, I can certainly understand the frustration for people wanting to maybe take it and say, you know what, we already don't know a lot about this thing here. And then we got people playing fun with this vaccine. They don't even know what's going on with it. They're telling us, yeah, no, it not yet. No, it expire. No, it ain't expire. No, if you're taking a
The thing is,
it goes back to Claudia's claim. Go ahead, Claudia.
Vaccines, from time immemorial, they go through a long process for them to actually know how much protection you can get from vaccine. Now, the thing is that with the coronavirus, there have been different strains of coronaviruses that have already been in the lab. The thing about Liberia with the cold chain and the information dissemination is we do not have enough, but yes, we are learning from the other countries. So every other country in the world that has been developed here, even here in the UK, where people are still searching for answers, even though people have taken vaccines, they are still searching for answers. There is a pool of information that, is just pushed down to the public so that you can do your own research and get enough information based on, your understanding of science. In Liberia, it is different. In Liberia, you rely on the health practitioners, the healthcare workers, those working in the Department of Immunology, those working at the Public Health Institute to help you with information. And they do not have to manufacture those information. Those information can be gotten from anywhere.
Global. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's global. So all we need to do is just trigger down the information so that the layman in the market will be able to get the information. And he can make his own decision based on how much information he gets. So if you are not giving, as the specialist in the field, if you are not getting the information to pass down, and someone who is in the market is listening to his friend, from waterside, telling him that when you take the vaccine, you will get blind, obviously he will believe it because he's not getting any other information from any source that matters. And, sadly, there was a lot of vaccines that had to be discarded because nobody took them and we couldn't keep them up. Liberia couldn't keep them after the time frame that they were labeled for. Liberia is, I
Sadly
think, one
enough.
of 12 countries in Africa or so.
Yeah, now the Liberian people are actually interested in taking the vaccine, and there are none available.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, I'm honestly concerned about the people who have already taken their first and been waiting for the second vaccine. So hopefully we were told, not by government, by one of the partners, that there should be vaccines coming in this week. And then I think the second, a second shipment of vaccine will be here in August.
Yeah, but here's the question. The vaccine that's coming in, is it the same AstraZeneca or is it something else?
Well, I don't
Now
know.
there has been
Yeah, but
that has been mixed.
yeah, I was told it's okay to mix it, because initially when I heard, I was like, what? Yeah, how you gonna, you give the people AstraZeneca? Now
But
you
see,
bring
here
on
we are sitting
something
down,
else?
we're speculating on how the vaccines are taken, the second dose, if it's okay to take two different companies' vaccine. We don't know. If this information was
don't.
given to the public, we
There
won't be
are
questioning it,
very
right?
few information from the last maybe 5 weeks about, you know, the possibility of mixing the vaccines to make your immunity stronger.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
know there have been the mix with the Pfizer has been mixed with AstraZeneca in some countries, and some people personal choice just, you know, got it. I know one thing in the UK, yeah, sometimes you don't even know which vaccine, if at the vaccine centers, they will have the label of the vaccines that they have there, but you will have to ask the second time to, you know, find out what specific farmer you are getting your
Yeah,
vaccine
well,
from.
bottom line is if the vaccine is available, just go get vaccinated. You have a better chance on fighting the virus being vaccinated as opposed to not being vaccinated, right?
Okay, I see Henry King, he's saying that he here that is AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson. And of course, Johnson & Johnson is that one shot.
The one shot.
One shot. So we'll see.
Yeah, but people shouldn't mistake getting a vaccine to be free from every illness and disease in the world. You know, that's something people have not been able to educate them, you know, the population on.
Yeah.
The thing is that when you take the vaccine, you take the first dose, you have to wait, I think, 11 weeks to take the second dose. Your
With the-
immunity does
yeah,
not
the
spike in
AstraZeneca.
for an extra 2 to 4 weeks. In some other places, you will have to do a blood work to find out if you actually develop antibodies when you take the vaccine. Not everybody gets the protection when they take the vaccine. So that's something people need to understand as well. And you also need to understand that you still need to practice your safe
Wearing your
practices.
mask.
You still
Yeah,
need to,
wash
yes,
your
you still need to
hands.
wear your mask. Even after you take your second dose, you still need to wear your mask until after at least 4 weeks when your vaccination immunity has kicked in. It is not immediate.
Oh,
So sometimes people take the second dose, and that's one of the contributing factors to people say that, you know, they took the vaccine and then they still fell sick and, you know, they got COVID.
Yeah,
It is
there's
not
actually
just
some of
taking
the
the
states
vaccine.
now
Yeah.
in the US that are saying that people are being requested to wear their mask regardless if you're vaccinated or not. A couple of months ago,
You
they said, okay,
should.
if you're vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. But they're now mandating that certain states are mandating that you must wear a mask even if you're vaccinated, if you're inside.
I personally think that was a really big mistake on the part of CDC to say that you don't need to wear your mask when you get vaccinated. If you take a look at China, that has, you know, had a couple of respiratory diseases, and not even respiratory diseases, just for pollution alone, wearing masks is very, very helpful. Considering public health and human nature, you saying that somebody shouldn't wear their mask, that's where the problem was. Because it's not that you cannot get sick, you cannot contract the virus when you're vaccinated. You can contract the virus. The possibility of you spreading the virus is still being studied. So you can contract, a fresh breed, a fresh strain from someone and pass it on to someone else who is not vaccinated. You may
So
be
bottom line
unharmed,
is you wear your mask.
So you have to wear your mask, whether you're vaccinated
wear
or
your
not.
mask, get vaccinated. And so
yeah, you have to.
Yeah, wear a mask, get vaccinated.
Wash your hands.
Stay out of the street.
No hugging and no bussing.
Stay out of the street. And also, our managers of the country, they need to do a better job at sensitizing the public. That
Yeah.
that has to be key. There needs to be more sensitization about the virus, about the vaccine, just about prevention, period. Because I was talking to Claudia and she started talking about smallpox. I'm like, well, we're not somebody trying to kill us in Liberia. We must
Smallpox, now
experience
monkeypox.
monkeypox, yeah.
Imagine monkey got
I'm like,
pox too.
yeah, we must die in Liberia, like somebody
You
trying
got
to kill
chicken
us, yeah.
pox. No, but I mean, all in all, now with Liberia, it's the rainy season. It's more time. Is more important that we are careful health wise with everything from typhoid to cholera to malaria to the different viruses. You just have to be careful. Wash your hands, stay away from people, wear your masks. Try not to go to places where you don't belong. You will always get the G's on Facebook, so you don't have to be in the middle of the fight. Yeah. We have to be realistic, even with the kids and with, family members. It doesn't mean because someone is your, cool friend, so you got to see them and always hug them. You cannot tell if a person is sick just by looking at them,
Absolutely.
And that's one of the mistakes we make. We still shake people's hands, we still hug people, and we feel that they are safe because we just.
But also we
think
we are a sociable society though. Like we like to be in group. We like to socialize. It's very hard. I remember when Ebola was here, for us to stop shaking people's hands, for us to stop hugging, that behavior change. I mean, it hard to do, but we understand, and we just got to keep preaching to them that behavior change needs to happen. To get off this subject just a little bit and go back to the $30,000 mark. Well, so the money, yeah, the $15,000 now, they're not dispersing. Another $15,000. We heard they did it last week, but some senators say, hey, I get my own year. I'm not picking it. There was the 7,500 that was donated from Senator Dillon to the Monserrato Health Team head, the lead, who is Dr. Wapo. Well, she accepted it, I should say. And then, of course, the Minister of Health instructed her to return the money back to the senator. Now, my problem with this was, number one, the public got on his case to donate the money towards the COVID response. He takes the money and give it to the head of the Monserrato Health Team. And if anybody know about our population, half of the population of Liberia resides in Monserrato or the surrounding, just Monserrato. We here, half of Liberia here. So he takes 7,500 or 7,000, half of that money, and he gives it, and then the government turn around and say, give it back. How?
People play politics with everything, when it comes to health,
there's no
politics. There is no politics when it comes to health. It's sad that people just do politics with everything. It's not competition, People's lives are not games. They are not checkers. They are not something that you go to win. Right now, the health system in Liberia needs as much help as it can get. There are nurses that still don't have uniforms to wear. Let's not talk about gloves. There are hospitals that still are in dire need of, hygiene products, disinfectants, masks, anything that is supposed to be used in a healthcare settings. Hospitals need them. So the fact that you play politics with little things is for me, it's just immaturity. Honestly, it's immaturity at the highest level. Whoever can give money, whoever have supplies to give, they should give, and it should be accepted. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's going to help someone.
And it was so timing because I was at JFK, and I think right around when he actually donated the money, just before he donated the money, and seeing how they were out of space. I went there on a mission. No, but I was there and people were outside taking IV because they didn't have space inside of the hospital. And like you said, it's rainy season. You're sitting outside. I don't even know how to describe the scene. And I just remember sitting there like, when I'm not in Liberia and I go to the hospital, the place is cold, it's clean, you know, you smell bleach, you know, I mean, like it's disinfected. Yeah. We are here sitting outside getting IV. Somebody is sticking a needle in your vein outside, where the dust, everything moving. You're sitting outside because they don't have the space in the hospital.
Or they don't even have light.
Yeah, don't get me started for the light again.
No,
Don't get me started for light.
No, I mean, we need all the,
Oh, don't fall. Yeah, so you know, and you know, we on social media, we behind the senator, like because at the time, you know, we just figured he would be the one to listen to us. Y'all need to get the money, y'all need to get the money back, y'all need to give the money. I think some people said to education, some people said to the COVID response. He gives the money.
the first thing.
But my thing is, why are we so adamant about this particular senator? Why are we so adamant that this?
Are you the only
particular
person who
senator
donated the money?
Yeah, but why do we demand from this senator everything right? Why don't we demand it from the 103 legislators that we have, that we voted for as a people?
Okay, since we're talking about him and why is him, then we will start. We need to get on the whole idea of this, the infamous apology.
Oh, y'all want to talk about the apology?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about apology. Since we're talking about
we're talking about the apology, but
and since we're talking about the politics of it.
Business, the first thing with this money business, if you're a senator and people put you on a pedestal and people expect you to act a certain way, to be different. Being different don't mean coming out and saying the wrongs that you did. Being different means stopping the wrongs from happening. The first thing, that money was in the budget. Yes. If they call you to sign for the money, say, no, I'm not signing for the money. Yeah. Why would you come and make noise out of something?
They need that money business. That's all about their apology. That's all about their apology.
Yeah, we finish with the money business now.
Okay,
we're talking about the character of the person, because she did raise a good question. Why is it that it's this senator that we you know, when he do something wrong, we hold him accountable. When everything is him. We're not talking about any other senators who actually kept all of the money, talking about they building public toilets. And they haven't even come out to say, you know what, we will give an audit of the money that we spend. They didn't even want to say that about it, because we all know what most of them doing with the money. So this particular senator who actually came and told us about the money was recently in some other hot water, which had to do with his character, and brought him out to explain. And the back end of the story is this. Senator Dillon, and I supported Senator Dillon. You know, I support Senator Dillon. Yeah. Senator Dillon apparently posted a picture on social media with him in business class. The public said, oh, number one, you're not even supposed to be going to America during this time, but you taking the money and using it on business class ticket. Senator Dillon decided to respond. That, for me, that was mistake number one. Senator Dillon decided he was going to respond, and he said that I did not buy a ticket for business class. I rode economy. Yeah. And then I think I heard he actually posted a ticket.
Let me tell you what he said.
Yeah. Tell me, because let me tell you something. When it was happening, for some reason, I wasn't actively on Facebook, because I would have been one of the people on Facebook defending it. So go ahead.
No, but the senator said he bought an economy ticket, he flew economy, and he went to business class to speak to someone. Mm-hmm. He went to just say, you know, just have a little conversation with somebody in business class. So that's when he took the picture, and then he used that picture to say he has safely arrived in the US.
Okay.
So
no, the thing is, somebody is saying that he apologized, that he lied. The first thing, your integrity takes a long time to build.
Yeah.
And if you build your integrity and people believe in you, you should try as much as possible to keep it that way. He lied. the lie that he lied is just put him in the same position with all the other people.
Yeah.
First off, you get a ticket to go to the States. There's no problem whether you get business class ticket. It's your comfort.
And
If
money.
I got money to buy first class ticket, I will buy it. That's my
Not
comfort.
true. They can
I
serve
obviously want to
champagne
put
up in
my foot on
there.
and drink champagne when I'm traveling. If I
I'm
can
telling
afford
you.
it, I don't mind. So if you buy a business
Okay,
class,
so
if you buy
let's
economy
all
ticket
agree
and
that
you
it was
get to
a,
the, yeah. If you
let's
get
all
to the
agree it was
airport
an
and you decide that,
unnecessary lie,
okay, maybe
right?
And I
It
think
was
that's
an
the problem
unnecessary
a lot
lie.
of people are having, that it was so unnecessary.
exactly.
Shouldn't have
So now
explained
you've
anything. You
proven
shouldn't have
yourself
told
to
that
be
lie.
something else that you are not, because there was no reason. Nobody was auditing you. You did not have to come on social media to answer to something that you know that you were lying about.
But
Okay,
Nobody
Claudia,
asked
1
you.
minute, hold up.
But then let me
Now,
say this.
wait. Now, yes, he lied. It's an unnecessary lie. It was not called for, but let's humanize it, okay? This is somebody that's under the microscope all of the time. So when they say to him, oh, you riding first class or business class and everybody else is suffering, these are the people you're supposed to be fighting for, I think his natural reaction was to say, no. And at that point, you don't always have to respond to the public. The people will always have something to say. But the moment you respond, you got to be responsible with your response, because then the
Exactly.
backlash comes.
Yeah.
So there was no
we
need to lie.
agree that the senator lie.
But-
Nobody trying to cover up any lie. And I think
That's
what needs to
disappointing.
happen is
That's
people that
extremely
defend the
disappointing.
senator needs to stop saying, well, and the CDC government said they were coming to bring hair factory, they were coming to do this. Let's not try to say,
But you know that our
let's
natural-
not cover up one
No,
lie
no,
with
no,
another
no,
lie.
no,
Let's just
no.
acknowledge the fact that, yeah,
No.
the senator
I
lied.
think
Let's
one
move
of our
forward with that.
problem is we always try to bring things to the bottom line and say that people are human. People are human, people make mistakes, but in as much as people are human, people are mature and people are intelligent enough to know when they are making those mistakes.
It was a
We
foolish
should
lie.
hold people accountable for them. We should not be, a population where when someone come and do something wrong and they say sorry and then we just let it go.
Yeah.
It does
And I
not
think-
work like that, because everybody is going to do wrong and everybody is going to say sorry.
Yeah.
So if you want to hold yourself in a certain esteem, try to keep it that way.
Yeah.
There's not so much you can do to recover a lie.
Yeah,
It is a taint now.
Yeah,
It's
the
going to
senator
take
urged,
you forever
okay?
to erase that lie. Now, every other post you make, every other money you receive, every other thing you try to defend against, people are going to start scrutinizing it more
We
than
will
they
scrutinize
have
it.
been doing. Yes, because we don't trust you anymore. And that's something that, I was happy for him, because he had gained trust of people that weren't even believing in, the rights of being a politician or, being a proper politician.
But
He did get some accolades for that. So now
Honestly,
everything is going back to square one.
I
The
don't
same
think
with
so.
the money. He should
Yeah.
have preached out that there were money that was 15,000 being divided, and he did not receive it because he wasn't in favor of it. He shouldn't have taken the money and then come on Facebook to come announce it. Oh yeah, they gave us 15,000 you, and what should I do with it? For me, that's rubbish. Sorry. Oh, PG. Yeah.
She ready.
Yeah, you should have left the money there and come and say, oh, this is what they decided to do, and I refuse the money because I don't believe that this is the process. You shouldn't take the money, take $5 from on it to go back, grumpy, take 7,000 to give to somebody else to cover up your face. That's not being honest. Honesty is starting from the beginning. So if you knew it was wrong in the first place, yes, it has already been passed in the budget. You leave it exactly where it is, and then you report it. Go with all your other people, even the female Senator Yomdi Kanga, Senator Lawrence, and what the other lady named from, the new lady, all of them received the money. Yes, go to all the people that other you guys say, you want to have a different agenda in the house of legislature, and say, this is what is happening. I don't think we should receive this money. Let's tell the public, let's tell our people this is what is happening, and then let's hear from them what they think we should do. Leave it there. You can take the money, you carry it home, you look at it, you smell it, you breathe on it, you touch it, everything, then you can't say, oh no, this is not right. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, so Claudia, right? Your suggestion would be, the money has been allotted, the money has been dispersed. You as a senator just don't receive it, or you receive it and you be quiet on it.
No, you cannot receive it.
No,
If you
her
think
thing is
something is
that,
not honest, you're not supposed to hold it.
yeah,
If you think it's not honest or if it is not just and you're representing the
know.
people, you're not supposed to touch it.
Okay, but you know
In
what?
fact, the thing is that with government processes, it takes a long time before you actually get the cash when there are cash transactions, to happen.
Not
So
this money.
they knew weeks in advance, they knew months in advance, probably that there was some allocation in the budget that they should have gotten at a certain time. The moment that you get that information, you should send the information to the public.
But
You should not wait when they
knowing
call you
is
in the
one
office
thing.
for money
The
first before you get
disbursement
it.
is what actually solidifies that this money is going to be, shared with the legislators, right?
But
So
you know what?
knowing that
Okay,
it's in the
ladies.
budget, there's still things in the budget that aren't implemented.
Okay, but you know what, ladies, let's move on from this topic because the other 15,000, they are now saying, they learned their lesson, they listened to the public. And I think Senator Lawrence Conga, she's saying that she's urging her fellow senators to not receive it. So we will watch, we will see how this plays out because there's a second $15,000, 15K that's coming out. So we'll see who will go ahead and accept it. Now,
But not receiving the money is another thing. Channeling the money to a better cause should be the motto, the MO of the senators. If you don't take the money, you leave it there. Say, okay, we won't take the money, but these monies are going to be allotted to this purpose. Then we know you're ready for something. You can just say, oh, you're not taking the money, and that's supposed to make sense
now. You're saying they should take the money.
No, they're not supposed to take the money.
Or they shouldn't take it.
If they have agreed that they are not going to take the money, or they are asking each other not to take the money, say we are not going to take the money, but we would prefer that the money be used for this purpose.
Okay.
Allocate the money. You cannot just leave the money there because obviously they will say they use the money to buy water to flush the toilet, and there's nothing you'll be able to do about it. Honestly, yeah. So allocate the money to something, make sure that it is budgeted for, and let it get, dispersed in that rights.
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Let's say I'm the senator. They tell me there's this $15,000 that's supposed to be given to me as senator of wherever, right? So I don't receive this money, but I tell the people who are dispersing this money to, y'all get a meal, I want it, but take care, y'all give it to the health workers?
Yes. That's why you do,
Okay.
because the money has already been allotted to the names. So you got Grand Julia County, 15,000, Sando County, 15,000, yes. If all these senators come together and say, okay, we know you have in the budget this amount of dollars, thousands of dollars for us, for our package change or for our community project. We don't agree to do community project at this time because there are other things of priority that we must cater to. So we would prefer this money going to this purpose. That's how you make a statement as a leader.
Yeah.
You don't just make a statement in the public and say, oh, we will not receive it. So now, if you receive the money and eat the money, how are we supposed to know?
Yeah. There's no accountability. No, there's no audit for this money. There's no accountability for it. We just know about it. And the other pressure that I think should come is on political parties. When the national budget is being drafted, before it's been passed, all of these people who are sitting, you sit in a political party, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be scrutinizing the budget and looking at it and say, but what the other line you're going for? What is the other line going for? Before it's passed, you're in the place that you don't want to pass it. You wait for it to pass, then everybody looking like, oh boy, we're already there and we got to use it to go.
You see, that's why we need integrity. Somebody said, oh, the job of a legislator is advise, consent, and legislate. Yes. And it's true. So they are at the beginning of everything that is happening. So if you are at the big, okay, so this particular money, they probably paid for it last year, they all did a year and May, and it was passed. Fine. Now we have different pressing issues in the country. There's road. My daughter was just in Liberia. My daughter swear there's no road in Liberia. She kept asking for the good road because there's no crosswalk, there's no street light. She's asking me how people can cross the road. Those are the little things that we don't take, to be important. And, 3-year-old is already looking at it. So you have different issues of priority that we could channel money to. Even if you had passed it in a budget for a different purpose to go and build community, people are not even supposed to be building pit latrines anymore. We're way past that stage now. People are supposed to be building proper toilets with stalls, 10, 20 stalls for public toilets, not pit latrine. You're not even doing that. So at least if there is money, and now we have the COVID crisis, we need infrastructure, we need lights in community, the crime rates are going up, it's rainy season, there are accidents, you got pimping in car, you got taxis on the side of the road that they don't even know which side of the road they want to be on. You have a lot of things that you can do with the money that makes so much sense than giving up somebody money to go and make that black and paint and put a picture on some piece of building all the way into a place that you don't even know where. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to us, but it makes sense to them because it's for campaigning. That's the bottom line. It's to campaign. That's why they're doing it. They want to campaign.
I bet that's true. Honestly, a lot of them don't even scrutinize the budget. They don't even read it. They don't even know what is in it.
Yeah, but and that's why I think all of this, our political parties, it should be, that should also be their responsibility. Our political parties, we need to start looking at the budget. We need to start scrutinizing the budget. So when we have our senators who are in there representing the political party, that's what they're supposed to be doing. If you belong to a political party and you know that you see this line item that ain't look right, that's what you're supposed to be in there for. But that's a responsibility for all of us. But nevertheless, I will say, closing on the note, that the fact that he did apologize, honestly, it can do three things. You can either look at him and say, you know what, we don't care, I don't believe you anymore. You can look at him and say, yeah, I do believe, you know, I'm glad you apologized. And you can also look at him and say, hey, I'm glad you apologized, but I'll be keeping one eye on you. And for me, that's how.
Well, he got zero accolades.
Yeah, I will keep one eye on me. I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very disappointed. But nevertheless, he is human. There's worse thing that's in that legislature. many bad, worse, ridiculous human being in there. So, and none of them have apologized. And speaking of apologies, there was an article recently, Jesus, take the wheel for this country. The TRC report.
Here you go.
Yeah, no, the TRC report, the senators apparently suggested that President Weah apologize to the Liberian people, and then we'll call it a day.
How?
My first
question,
apologize for what?
That money style warrior.
Yeah,
apologies.
How do we even start that conversation? How do we even make that request? How?
That what it means here.
Your answer now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to put small sense in it. Like, apologize for what?
For the war. Apologize to the fake.
Apologize for a war that he didn't partake in.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the president need to write down a letter and say, who exactly am I apologizing to, and for what?
Well, maybe because he's head of state right now. So maybe it says that let him apologize for all the people there who participated in the war. So as head of state, he's taking the responsibility for what happened in the country. Is that what?
We agree. We agree that, you know, usually the head of the country is supposed to do it. We agree that he wasn't supposed to do. But is that what the victims told you they wanted? Did the victims tell you?
I don't think a single victim is going to tell you, I want George Weah to say sorry for what, Prince Jordan did.
He needed
Let's say a worst case scenario, the president apologized. What is it supposed to do? How is it supposed to bring any closure to any family?
It's not, because they're not taking.
People don't understand. And then, every time we talk about development, and then we talk about how Sierra Leone is doing so well, people don't understand. Sierra Leone, the cruelty in Sierra Leone during the crisis was really, really bad. And the TRC, really helped them to put their hearts at ease so that they can help to develop, so that families and tribes can work together for businesses, for whatever purpose it was. So how will you ask the president to do something that he has no idea on how it started? Even if he had idea on how it started, he was not the one that the recommendations of the TRC asked, for him to do something about. But then again, Everybody got right to write. Everybody got right to say everything they want to say in Liberia. Anytime. Once you got money, you can print out whatever you like. And we don't have any rules on that. So
this is another opportunity again. And I keep bringing up the victims, the victims, the victims, the victims. You cannot decide how I heal. Did Liberian people
it's a bunch of nonsense to even request President Weah to
people say they
apologize.
want crime court. The people say they need a heal. You ask them how they need a heal, what they need. People are even calling for some of your senator in the legislature. You turn around and say, you know what, we're not even going to consider your feeling. We're not even going to consider how you need to heal for us to move on. But we want the president to say, no, man, because you know that our norm here. Yeah, you do something to somebody telling you, you know what, this hurt me, no, how you that me. Anyway, no, man. Yeah, that's how you want to deal with a war that destroy, that kill people, that destroy lives for over the past, 30 years?
The thing is, even when you were
separated,
small,
you want the president to
if
say
you go
sorry.
draw water at a well, if you go draw water at a well and you and your friend fight and you go report to your mom, they will bring to her, your mom will put to her down, you know, and ask you what happened. You explain your side of the story, the person explain their side of the story, and then they tell you to apologize. That's how reconciliation
Y'all
works.
say sorry now. Say sorry.
Yes.
They say sorry. Everybody go
even
hold their
force you
hand.
have to hug each other. That's how reconciliation works. You know, you cannot ask, people have been hurting, and the sad part, the painful part about in Liberia is that people that have had abuse and ill treatment during the course of the war, they are still seeing these people in their daily lives. They see these people every day. People walk in the street and see people that had molested them, people that raped them, people that killed their family members. You see them. Sometimes you are even in a position where you are forced to speak to them. You cannot just pass by that without letting them, you know, voice out their hurt. People are still complaining. I think the other time someone was on some show somewhere talking about, up to now, it has been so many years and they still don't even know where their relatives have, you know, were buried because they have not had any answers. Those are pains that people are carrying on. In Liberia, we have, you know, Memorial Day, how we call this? Decoration Day, where people go, unification. And that's our culture of, you know, identifying with the dead. If you don't even know where your family members were buried, not even a monument where you can take a flower to, or at least go and sit down there and cry and talk to them, how do you expect the person to heal? And because of these smaller things, we have so much anger in our society. In the traffic, in the market, in anywhere you go, there's so much anger. People are just angry every day because people have not been able to have the right channels to, you know, vent out their frustrations and their hurt. So you can't ask one person to apologize for something that went on for 14 plus years. You know,
I think that's some of the reason, but we can't relate all of our issues to not having any consolation from the war.
No, honestly, that's
we got some young people, we got some 20-year-old people tested rather than that rude for no reason and never experienced
because they have
war.
grown up in families
that were broken up because of the war, and therefore they don't have that home training. So everything
you grew up with families that are being hurt.
You talk about two generations,
the rest of our lives blaming this war.
No, we were doing it until
I do think that we need to have a conversation in regards to the war. We do need to have reconciliation. I think the TRC report needs to be implemented. But going back to the initial statement of President Weah apologizing, I don't even think it should be a conversation. It just sounds ridiculous to me.
But you know what? I keep hearing this thing about, oh, we need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation. We had a conversation. Let's start with the TRC report. It was a start of a conversation. We don't implement anything. So now we won't go talk about what we talk about. Let's eliminate
the conversation.
Yeah, there's more conversation that needs to happen. We agree that there will be more, but let's start with where we started. We had a conversation. There were recommendations for implementation of a war crime court. Implemented. You know, once you implement that, then we can go sit and have another conversation. But we can't continue to have this, a national dialogue or a conversation when you don't implement what comes from the conversation. And I see someone is saying, you know what, we need to go back to 1980. There one of your people there in their society, I will not call her name, that been a part of
Oh,
it.
go ahead, you can
No, I
talk.
will not call her name. Been a part of the whole issue in Liberia. I mean, I've been hearing this man name involving every single government since I was a child. So all the president there, I know that I lived, he was part of that government, right? Saw him and he's still talking. They're still preaching this divide, the Congo country divide. Saw him one day, I said, you know what? Our generation X, and the generation after that need to sue y'all. Perhaps we need to file a class action lawsuit for y'all, because obviously you have no remorse of what happened, your part in it. And apparently nobody else, I mean, there's no remorse from a lot of the people who their names are being called, their names are involved, whether they were directly involved. And I'm starting from 1980. I will call my age here. I was born in 1976. Yes, I was born in 1976 in Liberia. 1979, there was a deadly rice riot. 1980, there was the coup d'etat. 1985, 86, that was the attempted coup. 1990, the war started. So look at someone's life from that perspective. From the time you were born, there had never been 5 years of peace in the country. And then you keep hearing the same old names involved. 1979, 1980, 19, and the passing around here, still spreading the country Congo divide. Is it our generation? When does that end? Shouldn't that end with our generation? That would be a conversation. I'm sorry, I kind of went.
Let's not get into that conversation.
That would be
today.
a conversation for next week. Yeah, we will talk about this divide and what part our role as Generation Xer, millennials, generation, what is it, a Z now? They got Z? What they got, Generation Z? Yeah, next it will be Generation YY, but next week we will touch on that. One more topic before we go, and we're talking about community development, red light district. Hey, y'all heard about red light? Let me say this for those of you who don't know. So when I moved to Liberia, I've been here for about 11 years now. I moved back for about 11 years. My first job in Liberia was with the Painesville City Corporation. And you know, red light is the largest market district in the country. Red light is located in Painesville. Red light has a major highway, what do you call it? What is it? A traffic throughway.
Not a road. Oh, we got a road.
That's a word. That's a name for it. Yeah, but red light is like this very important hub for traders. So you have people who are coming from maybe the Kakata from that side, Nimba, Kakata way, bringing stuff into the city. You have people who are coming from Lofa through Douala, coming to red light. And then you also have people from Bassa, from that end, coming through the red light. So this is like a major hub. And when we say a major hub, you're talking about on any given day, more than 20,000+ people that reside, work, do everything there. So the road that goes through, the people literally selling on the road. So if you want to make it through red light,
I think that's Weaver Street. It should be called Weaver Street.
No, it's not Weaver.
Weaver is Abitoba Road.
It's like
no, it continues. I think Weaver Street goes to red
no, it's
light.
not Weaver. It's Kakata. It's Tottenham Boulevard, and then Kakata Highway starts somewhere there. But we could never get
Weaver Street.
Yeah, no, not Weaver.
Yes.
Weaver.
It's Weaver Street. I remember the PO box information. It's Weaver Street.
You sure?
From the
Weaver Street is Abitoba Road.
It's a side
street. From there all the way to red light is Weaver Street.
No, but the way Abitoba Road goes across,
it goes to Tupo Road.
It goes to Tupo Road. Yeah. So it's Abitoba Road, Weaver Street, and then Tupo Road.
Somebody it's called red light business highway.
Where you have the business highway church, that road is Weaver Street.
Anyway, I will not argue with a lady who grew up in Liberia.
No, but I will tell you, Weaver Street is not AP Toba Road. Weaver Street was the
No, it's
side road
different.
by Pinsville. But anyway, so that road there, you know, we have worked with Red Light to clean it up every week. You know, we there talking to the people, trying to get them to move. And then the Japanese project came where they were supposed to expand the road. They started with Somalia Drive, and the people selling on the road, need to get them off. They can't move. Well, fast forward last week, the most impossible task to
The
move
impossible
those
became
people.
the possible.
It was, yeah, the impossible became possible.
By the borrow medicine.
Yeah, and apparently the market remover medicine too. The president, his administration was able to
Clear the road medicine. But I think that was a good
You
thing.
remember that song, y'all move on the road?
The story ain't finished yet. But the story ain't finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I see the picture that said, oh, they now move everybody from there, they now move them to Omega. Now, Omega site was the designated place that was supposed to be created for the marketeers from Red Light. But Omega, from our understanding, was constructed for about 4,000 people. And Red Light has almost, I'm saying 20,000, I think they have like more than 30,000 people in there, right? So Omega, you know, even though it was there, it just really wasn't ideal. But nevertheless, it's there. New administration come in, take it over, because the previous administration, honestly, I don't know what happened. Yeah, you know, they started, they stopped. Yeah, new administration come in, they started. I don't know if they completed it. Yeah, but when then they decide to move these 20,000, 30,000 people away from Red Light. So I see the picture in Red Light. I'm like, oh my God, this is great stuff. Oh, this is the impossible. Yeah, the man has done the impossible. But guess where the Muda put the Omega, and guess where they spill over? On the road. So in essence, it almost like they move you from Red Light and move you about 2 or 3 blocks down the road, you on the road. What the heck?
Did you guys see the video where, is she stuck? Did you see the video where it was raining, I think yesterday or the day before? And the whole place was flooded. The rain was up to their knees. So they were basically in this market, in Omega Market, in a river. There was this guy who took off his shoes. The rain was like at his knees, trying to try to free the waterways. Why do we wait until it's flooded before we free waterways?
First off, you know, I must applaud getting Red Light clear. Getting a car to pass through Red Light or just walking through Red Light is a nightmare.
Absolutely.
But you know, as leaders, we also have to consider a lot of different things, right? Most of the people that go to Red Light to sell, they only go there because they have somewhere to store their goods.
Exactly.
That's security issue. So if you're trying to relocate people to the other markets, make sure that those people that are providing those storage services are also going along before you get the people to go. You know, you cannot just ask people, because Liberia is not a rich country. Nobody depends on government. Nobody depends on finance or anything. People sell, people sweat to make a living. If you want people to go from one point to the other, make sure you have in place all the modalities to make that work. Yeah. Make sure there's road. Make sure that there's adequate space for them to spread out. Make sure you have a mapping plan in place. You can't just do one structure of a building that 3 persons can fit in, and then you ask 20,000 persons to go there. It does not make any sense. Understood, you're doing it for the better good, but it does not make sense. Make sure the latrine is large enough for those people. I understand somebody said there were trash, you know, there were dead bodies for the trash.
And that's a norm. Yes. Oh, that's norm.
It's because there's no accountability. The spaces are not made for you to be able to track what is happening there. Yeah. Market is supposed to be hygienic. This is also another area where the infill environmental section can even get money from.
From who?
Those places have to be.
From who? From LMA?
The market women, right. The market association.
Yes, that's when you put regulations in place for certain things. Now, each market district supposed to have specific amount of people registered to that district. This is strict law. This is how you make countries to work. Each district have a certain amount of people. You go to the marketing association to register and say which one of the places you want to sell. You say, I want to sell Douala Market. Okay, Douala Market, we only have 500 persons in this field. There's no space. Please find another market to sell. That's how you do it. If you don't go by that, you have repercussions.
Okay.
So if they take all the people from Red Light now, you carry them to Omega, you don't have toilet, you don't have enough space, you don't have storage. Omega, man, that barren land, that's empty place. So all the Zoho there from all these different places will just burst off into the people goose and steal them. You don't even have any guarantee for these people goose. So people go far and beyond to get the pepper and Kopacho market right there. They get all their wholesale food for distribution to the other markets in Monrovia. So you don't even have any consideration of how they're going to store the goose. As far as you're concerned, the road should be clear and the people shouldn't be there. Yeah. So where are they supposed to go?
But let me tell you something about the whole red light. Yeah. When we were at Painesville City Corporation, we met with LMA and some of the other businesses, the supporting businesses. I always say the value chain. So you're right, the warehouse, the cold storages, the transportation of people, the people who come from out of town that need hotels to spend a night. There are several supporting businesses for the marketeers over there, okay? And we wanted to ensure that they had places at Omega. That was one of the reasons why Omega just kind of, it was like, it got stuck, it didn't get stuck here, they started building, they didn't build, blah, 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 right? Now,
that's why it made sense.
Let me tell you, but LMA, the Liberian Marketing Association, I admire these women because, they're very progressive.
Yeah.
But LMA makes money. I don't think LMA, as LMA it is, they pay taxes. I think the only people who were probably disrupted in this whole value chain of red light was the Liberian Marketing Association. Because once you move those people over there, you left room for the petty traders in the front to just kind of go in. Perhaps maybe they should have used LMA to better structure it. Because they do have a very good system, where they have the deputy, they got the superintendent of the market, they got somebody in charge of the whole area. But again, you have to use these people who are very familiar with the process. Now, red light, we went to red light, there were garbage in red light that had been there for over 20 years. They did body say they jet on the day body there. Yeah.
How you know they had date on the day?
No, nobody ever clean it. Wait, we're gonna clean. Yeah. Who ain't clean it?
No, but I mean, the thing is that we all applaud change and we want change and we want hygienic environments. But, just going about and pulling the horn of the bull without checking the surrounding, you get the bull hurt, you get yourself hurt. And that's what we are having right now. Yeah. There are people that have been in those businesses for years. Yeah. There are people that have been, in those fields, in those market settings for years. Yeah.
We have to commend the government for having the willpower and the political will to actually move these people. But like both of you ladies are saying, there should have been a plan. So if you're going to move 5 persons, we have to be able to accommodate 5 persons.
You have to strategically do it. You cannot move everyone at the same time.
Right.
You have to do batch by batch. You ask the people, okay,
and quite honestly, Claudia,
divide the red light market into smaller batches, and then you look for the ones which are of priority and you move them. When they get
started with the front,
what they really could have done was they could have moved 25% of those people, and that would have still eased the traffic in red light. So they would have gone to a mega.
You can just move everybody.
Traffic. So it would have worked out for everybody. But
and most of those people, they use their own money to build their little stores and stuff. Some of them, they have their kids that go to school right in the market. Some of them have their babies, they have nurseries, daycares and stuff in the market. So there should have been some strategic planning. Some people live, the proximity.
You know what? We'll talk for the government. The government of Australia with the people here. The people here, they were tired.
I do understand.
But the government
just tired. Yeah. All things telling them one better road, the people were tired.
But and we will commend this government because no government have been able to move those people from red light.
Moving
So,
them for one day is not
so
an issue.
no,
Moving them
regardless
for one
if
day
he
is not
moves
an
them for
issue. It's
5 days or
maintaining
for 1
the
second, they were
space.
moved. There should have been
No, but now
better
they know
implementation
that the
and better
government's serious.
planning.
They know that much, that the government's serious.
It's
Everybody
maintaining
say,
the
yeah,
space, and
we might
without
talk
a
about
plan,
the
you will not
traffic
be
in
able to
Monrovia.
maintain the space.
What?
Do we have all day?
The traffic in Monrovia, no, we ain't got time for that one there. the turn up plenty.
We need a special guest for that. We'll probably call.
Yeah,
I hear he in Liberia, so let's find out if you want to come tell us about traffic in Monrovia.
That's a whole topic by itself.
Yeah.
But I think everything with Liberia is just about planning. It's about proper public planning. You know, we've talked about the 15,000 and stuff. That's planning. We talk about lying in the public. That's planning. We talk about the market is planning. You know, other countries, they go through development. You go back to Ghana in 2000, the late 2000, it was way far from what it is. You know, you tell the people that this is what we are going to do. And if they don't move, or you go to move them, they already know what the plan was. So they know exactly where they're supposed to be going. If you do not give them any plan, or if you do not tell them how it's going to be, even if you give them a 30 days or 90 days period for them to move, and then you finally forcefully move them, it's not going to solve the problem, because you have not laid any idea of how they're supposed to start off where you are taking them. Yeah. And that is going to continuously be a problem. So obviously they will creep back to red light, and in a month or two, it will be like they never left.
Absolutely.
You know what? We didn't. I want the government side this time. We did it. The boy how will tell you a funny story. At Painesville City Corporation, you know, the ELW junction that were our own the challenge, because you know everybody wants to everywhere. So we were told to remove the people from there. So we went there. We had a meeting with them. We found a place for them to go. Said, okay, we in the next 2 weeks, you will have to move from here. You'll go. I mean, it wasn't far from the road, but it wasn't on the road. They came to the meeting, everybody, you know, some people fuss and say, 2 weeks later, we'll come back again. I went, so I'm talking to the guy. I said, but if we told y'all not to be here on the sidewalk, y'all could be standing on the sidewalk. He looked at me. He said, you don't want to put a sidewalk here? That you don't put a sidewalk here. So not tell me I'm not getting.
The thing is, we can do everything we want. We can do all the forceful removals. It's not going to solve the problem unless we have a plan and we have rules in place.
Yeah,
we need to make sure that the rules are implemented. If you say somebody should not sell here and that person sell there, if they're supposed to go to jail, make sure they go to jail.
Go to jail, yeah.
Make sure you have that receipt.
I mean, but y'all see, this is what we don't understand.
Fine,
we have so many.
Fine. You have to follow through with what the regulation is. We don't follow through because somebody will call somebody and somebody will call somebody. That's another case by itself.
Claudia, Salamartu, I hear you, right? There should be fines and all of those things, right? A good amount of the Liberian people are not properly identified, right? So how do you find them? How do you
lock them up?
How do you write them a citation? Have you been to Monrovia City? You've been to Monrovia City prison. You know how overcrowded they are. We have tiers of issues in that country.
They will rent place to find prison.
We'll start building private prisons then.
You start that business, the private sector right there.
Now.
That's a business right there. In developed countries, prisons are businesses.
Yeah, no, of course. There's a lot of prisons that are privatized. So what I'm saying is that's not what we're dealing with right now. Yeah. So when we start talking about giving people fines for selling in the wrong place and locking them up and all of that, it all sounds good, but implementation is where we fall short.
We got simple things to start with. I mean, there are simple things. Now they have everybody with voter registration cards. Yeah. You have people with their national identity cards. Well,
not everybody.
Processes,
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You can set your regulations based on what you already have.
But how many of those market people, how many of those pimping drivers, how many of those so-called boys there are actually going to get a national ID card.
But they
Man,
have voter registration.
I would
cards,
say,
because it matters to
and
them.
I think I'm being a little bit lenient to say 75% of the people in Liberia do not have national ID cards.
Yes,
no, but you know
but they
what?
have
And
some form of identification because they
identification,
either
that's
receiving
another
Western Union or
conversation.
they're going to school.
That's
There
a
is some form of identification.
and
And that is something
that's a
that
different
even the
conversation.
legislatures can try to work on when they're talking about getting money for community projects. Those are things that you work on because that's why the crime rate is high.
Yeah.
You don't know how to identify people. Besides teaching lesson plate every 5 days like Christmas lights, there's no identification in the whole country. So
Yeah.
until you, sorry, oh.
I mean, it's there, like I said earlier.
Sorry,
we
Madu, we
have-
got lawyer.
Yeah, as
Yes,
my
yeah,
Tom,
make sure she's on.
our lawyer.
Yeah.
We got lawyer.
No, but we have
Come on,
so
okay.
many
We
years
have
of-
to start
of-
from somewhere.
issues.
We cannot be there and saying that we don't have it, so it
You
can't
don't have
work.
it, yeah.
We don't have it, it can't work. There is somewhere to start from. Trust me. If you tell someone that I see you, I mark you down, I'm going to take your voter registration card, and you'll not be allowed to vote, it will mean something to them.
Yeah.
Whatever
But you
you
know-
have, you use it. That's how the rule of law works. You don't wait to implement a system after you have built it. You work with what you already have. If it calls for them to be locked out at the police station and you put a hanger on and hang on the window bar for 24 hours,
You do it.
you put it there.
Yeah.
Yes. If I know that it is inhumane and I'm not supposed, I don't want it to happen to me, I will not do the thing that will make it to happen to me. We have to put something in place.
Let me tell
We
you,
can't keep saying,
for
because
this,
there is nothing done, so it can be done.
this
When we talk about the traffic, that's a
ID.
different thing because I will be scrapping cars every day. So
The
yeah.
national ID, a friend of mine told me, he said the biggest problem in Liberia is the fact that we don't know who's here.
we don't know who's in
Yeah.
Liberia.
Yeah, he said we don't know who's here. The ID, I think Henry King, when we were volunteering with this whole COVID response last year at GSA, and that was when the whole food distribution came up. That was one of the ways they wanted to, one, encourage people to get their national ID, and then two, to keep track of who they distributing food to, right? And then, of course, the first thing somebody said, oh, the people can't afford it. And I remember one of the team members in the group saying, you don't necessarily have to give them the ID. So, assigning a ID
Register
number
them.
to them.
Yes.
Yeah, once you register them, there's an ID number. That costs nothing. So you let the people come, let them, if they want the rice, they wanted this. There's one way you can encourage them to go ahead and sign up. You give them the ID, their ID number. Whenever they won't come back for their actual picture ID, they can come back. But at least you have
Wherever you have money to
register.
get a copy of it.
happen,
you
yeah,
can
you
get
have
it.
that person register.
Well,
Why
we
that
don't-
didn't happen? Why it happened? I am so convinced at this point where I just believe there's so many people who are just content with what it is here in Liberia. They like it just
Yeah,
the way
but we
it
need
is
to break
because
that.
they benefit from it. So they happy with the way it is. And when you change anything, you start putting proper structure in the places where it will either level the playing field or where it will be transparent. There will be accountability. Some people don't like it. Yeah. And because they don't like it, they will continue to not do what is necessary to be done to move Liberia forward. I'm just too convinced that there are people who are just happy they're
We
succeeding.
just need to
this
start
matter.
breaking the cycle. Obviously, it will always be the case, especially when people are used to living, a certain way. It will always be the case. Other countries are not doing well because they are looking at people and forgiving them or not implementing the laws. They are doing well because there are repercussions when you do things that are wrong.
Rwanda.
And we should start following suit. Yeah. We cannot be talking. I don't talk for somebody. If you're in trouble and you're supposed to do something, I don't talk for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't talk for you. I don't believe I'm supposed to talk for you because I'm helping to break down our system.
Yeah.
So if you cause problem and you're supposed to go to jail and you call me to go for you, I'm not going for you. You will stay there.
Right.
That's how we're supposed to do. We start doing it with the people that we know. That's how we change systems. We do it with the people that we know. We start from our homes, our neighborhoods, our offices and stuff. But if we don't do that and we always wait for someone else, who's going to come for someone else? We're not going to have Donald Trump coming to Liberia to be president. We're not going to have
We definitely don't want that anyway.
somebody coming. Yeah, We're not going to have any other country, persons coming to Liberia to come and do for us what we're supposed to do. And because we have been relying on that for so long and it's not working, that's why we're still where we are. We have to do it for ourselves. If we have people in power that we need to keep them accountable, we hold them accountable.
Accountable for, yes.
They should set example. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, we find ways in getting them out of there. That's something that's supposed to be major for us. We get them out, we shame them, we name them, we shame them in everything that is wrong. That's the only way we're going to get somewhere. Other than that, we're just going to be wasting our time, and our children will come in the same circle. And honestly, there's absolutely nothing left for them anyways.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's another issue. The ID is for 2 years. Who gets an ID for 2 years? So after 2 years, they will change your ID number. How am I supposed to track you?
But
So
that's
if I
actually
use my
very,
for 15
that's
years,
very
and
true,
I come back
Claudia.
and I remember the ID number, and you tell me, say, oh no, it's not your ID number again.
Or they're changing it up. It's funny, when I did my ID,
because
they did it for 3 years. And then some people are like, no, they did theirs for 2 years. I mean, my
Now it's even for 1 year because
Mine
I
was
asked my
done-
nanny
mine
to
was
go and
done
do
for
her
2
ID
years.
for a year. Yeah.
and the identification people came to the office to do the, all of the staff identification cards. So of course I didn't pay attention to the expiration date, and I acting a big kid. No, I don't need one. I got mine done already. So I went back and looked, and my thing had expired. So I didn't realize it was such a short time frame. Again, we're dealing with like a poor society where it's a sacrifice for somebody to go get that $5 for you to know who I am. I already know who I am. You know what I mean? So for me, it's a sacrifice, or not me, but people in general, that they take that $5 to get a national ID card. And then 2 years down the line, and they tell me, take another $5 again and put it back in government coffers to get another ID card.
For
And
no reason.
the people don't even use the ID card. So what is the point of going back every 2 years to get a new renewed ID card?
Yeah, even a driver license. I just renew my license is for a shorter time. It makes no sense.
That money.
And they keep changing it. I don't understand. I mean,
No,
seriously.
I don't think there's anything wrong with government.
That's why when you are born,
generating
you are
income.
given a name. When you are born, you are given a name because that lasts with you for a lifetime. It should be the same thing for the identity of people. It should be the same thing for the identity of cars. You can't just keep changing numbers here and there. Your social security number is the same for you until you die. It should be the same with the national identity number. If it is so hard for them to do, replicate the number. If you have a number on the birth certificate, use that same number for the social security, use that same number for the national ID. That number be the person only number they have.
Yeah.
So
But
even
check
if
this
person
out.
leave and they come back after 20 years, once they know that number, you can track up all their documents. If possible, you can even use the same number in the hospitals.
But look, check this out. So, and you know, we supposed to, the whole harmonization of ECOWAS, we're supposed to have a ID, sort of like a passport that we use to travel within ECOWAS, right? So the other countries are, you know, implementing it. Another funny story. Had a business person who, a Liberian business person that's based in Cape Town. So his partner was coming from Senegal, but had traveled by road. So he came, I think he left Senegal, he came through Guinea, and then Guinea, I think Sierra Leone. But anyway, it brought him to the borders of our beautiful nation. The guy gets to the border, the guy has his ECOWAS ID. Hands it to the immigration officer on the Liberian side. The man look at it, he said, my man, I don't know what that thing is. Where a passport? So the guy said, I have my passport. He handed his passport. Luckily, he had his passport as well. He handed his passport. He said, but why a passport not stamped? The man said, because I did not use my passport in the other countries that I went to. I used my ECOWAS ID. He pulls out the ID again. The man said, my man, I said, I don't know what that thing is. Put it back. But it ended up, you know, I got a phone call. I had to go to the ECOWAS ambassador and talk to him. And his frustration was, he said, you know, when they started this national ID, we told them they should just go ahead and combine the two, you know, make sure they're issuing people ECOWAS ID, you know, feel a way how you can make sure that the information is sort of synchronized. So you don't have to go back again and start issuing ECOWAS ID. What they didn't do it, it looked it was gonna mess up somebody's hustle. So they didn't do it. Came up with a whole 2-year national ID. But I keep telling you, I'm lucky. They did my own for 3 years. I don't know why. But yeah.
I don't know. Somebody must have liked you because
maybe your name was
everybody that I know is
3
2
years.
years.
You have to get a new one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just simple things that we can resolve. But I always go back to what that person told me. He said, we don't know who's in our country. And until we know who's in our country.
And that's the scary part about it.
He said, we don't know
who's in our
yeah.
country.
And we don't want to know, I guess. But ladies, I think we've been on for about an hour and a half. We have so much more to talk about, but we will leave this for next week. I was trying to read some of the comments. I think you're looking at some of the comments, but I think when I start reading some of these, I won't laugh. As if your citizenship changes every 2 years, my dear. I think Henry King was there when we were trying to get them to issue the ID numbers instead of the physical card. Just to kind of get people to apply for it. And then, of course, you know, the process at the National ID registration is starting to get a little tedious now. They're asking you for your tribe. I think someone, I don't know if you were sitting there, Claude, when somebody explained their situation. They went in there to get the ID and they were told to speak fast. Because she wasn't, they didn't look at her.
Imagine.
Then I think someone else posted on Facebook.
For me, I was put on so I'm not
Yeah, but now I mean, we know it's illegal. They're not supposed to be doing that. So you know, you want the money, you want people to sign up for it, but then you still got people within the system who are trying these $5 hustle, you know, speak fast, speak XYZ, to show that you are a Liberian citizen. But anyway, we want to kind of stop there on a good note since we've been here for about an hour and a half. And thank you, ladies, so much. Wasn't this fun?
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to women, man. Yeah, we can make sense. So, yeah, I'm talking about them, the other gender. No, but for real.
Somebody was asking why we need a lawyer. We just need a lawyer. Some of us
need a lawyer.
Our mouths are not so nice.
The lawyer is on retainer. We
are very opinionated.
At any given moment, there might be a need for her to come on board, but she's on retainer. So let's just keep her. You know, what I can call her, she in the back room there. She's just kind of waiting for anything to happen. So you'll leave her there.
Yeah, see, she ain't watched the show. Then when we pick up phone and call her and say, "Ma, we need your help," then we gotta explain the whole.
Don't worry, she will speak down.
You know, but thank you, ladies, so much. So next week, we're going to talk about, I guess the whole tribalism topic and some other topics. You know, we'll discuss what we talk about. And for those of you who join us tonight, thank you so much. We're literally in 3 different time zones. So I am still in Liberia. I think someone sent a message. Hey, Preston, I still here in Liberia. I'm still in Liberia. And I just saw Charlene is in the US and Claudia is in the UK. So Rabina is also in the US, but she's in a different time zone. So we're all on different time zone. You know, I know it's pretty late, but thank you all so much for joining us. I just saw the lawyer. She said she got.
No,
that's not kind of lawyer we need.
What happens to our lawyer?
Our lawyer not on here, but somebody asking for a specific type of lawyer.
She's here too, so.
Oh yeah, but we can talk. We can talk. So yeah, but thank you all so very much. I hope you stay up next Sunday. You join us. If you have any questions, if you want us to talk about anything, if you know some hot topics, you know, you can inbox any one of us. Let me see if I can put our stuff here. I'll go ahead and put the page here. Hopefully by next week, we'll be able to figure out the Salamartu page. I won't put it on my personal page because you know my grandma can be watching it in it. So I won't. I wanted to move it to the other page. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for joining, Claudia, Colleen. I will see you in the other chat room.
TM.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.